Bam. Bam. My peoples. My peoples. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. You guys know what we doing, man. We talking boxing. This is what we do, my people. So Saturday, we gonna get some fights, and of course, you had to get a special edition of Boxing for Breakfast. So go ahead and get this healthy dosage. Now, let me kick this thing off by saying, man, it doesn't matter if it's hot, if it's cold, if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's sunny, wherever you at, my peoples. If you up, if you awake, if you breathing, God gave you another day, man. Thank you, God, for giving us another one. Yes, sir. We on it, my peoples. Sebastian Fundora is going to defend versus Keith Thurman. Whoa. We're going to get some serious fireworks. Now, yesterday, I made my prediction. I told you guys Sebastian Fundora is going to win this fight. Okay? Don't let this be another one of those situations where I said I told you so. So if you want to make a prediction and you made the wrong one, you want to take it back, this is your last opportunity. Right here. Right here. It's your last opportunity. So go ahead if you want to change your mind. But Sebastian Fundora is going to win this fight. Now, I got to say this, my peoples. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. Keith one-time Thurman is not to be disrespected, my peoples. Okay? So yes, my peoples. Fundora is going to win this fight. Jay Stradamus already told you this. But, before we keep going, let me just say, man, shout out to everybody who's already tuning in. Size in the building. Toy Mafia. Salute family. Underrated Will. In the building. Trent Thomas. Kelly Monero. Bam. Sai. My account. Bam. Salute family. Fellas, it's going to be a good fight. Keith Thurman, you have to understand, it's a world championship caliber type fighter. And he has one loss on his resume to Manny Pacquiao, a pound for pound all-time great. So it's not like Keith is out there just getting his ass whooped. Don't get it twisted. Keith one-time Thurman is gonna be one-time Thurman. He just happened to be facing a fighter who's younger, who's gonna, a lot younger. If I'm not mistaken, right now Keith Thurman is maybe 38 or 39. I can't remember. You guys can fact check me. One time Thurman is 38, 39. And Fundora's like 28, 29 years old. That difference right there is it's like a 9-year difference. There you have it, side 38 years old. And Fundora like 29. So that's gonna be a factor in this fight. You have the younger fighter, and that physical advantage is gonna be a problem tonight. I'm trying to tell you, my peoples, it's going to be a problem. Side, where do you drop your prediction, Jake Smith? I missed it yesterday, my guy. I predicted yesterday that Sebastian Fundora is going to win this fight. The letter M, salute family, bam. 21 green lights. What time is the heavyweight fight today? Ooh, we getting to that. Hold on, fam, man. We gonna get to that. We're gonna get to the heavyweights. We gotta get to the heavyweights. But before we get to the heavyweights, my peoples, I want to tell you about this fight. This is in the same card. My peoples, Caipo Gallegos. If you're not on to him yet, tonight, watch him. I'm trying to tell you right now, this kid is a future world champion. He's one of those who you may not know yet. Locally, he's very well known. But Caipo Gallego is for real. This kid is talented. And you're going to see him tonight. He'll be facing his toughest opponent to date. If I'm not mistaken, his opponent is like 19-1. So Gallego versus Gonzalez, I think this fight is going to be right before the main event. It's going to be a good one. You get to see this young kid who's really, really talented. So if you don't know about Kaipo Gallegos, get put on tonight. Get put on tonight, my peoples. That's all I'm telling you. The kid can fight. And I already told you, man. Future world champion. Future world champion. So if you don't watch him now, and you don't start following his career, later down the line, you're going to be like, damn, man, Jay told me about that dude. He's a world champion. I should have been listening. Real shit. The letter M, Gallegos got that KO power. He got power, man, but he's a young kid. And you could just see how sharp he is. That's a word that I would use to describe him. He's sharp, man. The ring IQ, the defense, the movement. He's sharp with it. So there you have it, my peoples. I'm looking forward to this fight. Of course, the main event, Keith Thurman versus Sebastian Fundora. But, come on now, right before the main event, make sure you check out Kaipo Gallegos, yo. And his opponent is good. I don't know Julian Gonzalez like that. I seen him. I don't know who was it and what undercard I seen him. I know I seen him. You know, he has a good record. He only has 1 L in his resume. But I'm telling you, Kaipo Gallegos is going to shine bright. Those are my expectations. Now, my peoples, we talk about the heavyweights. Okay, now we talk about the heavyweights. Itauma versus Franklin is going down tonight. Not tonight. Oh, whoa. I said tonight. Hold on, my peoples. Let's make sure we got everything in order right here. Look at the time, fellas. Look at the time so that you know what time you're watching this joint. If you're in New York City or if you're in the East Coast, that's at 1 p.m. Eastern time. The card, I'm guessing that's the main card, starts at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So this is in the afternoon, which means I'll be calling this fight for you guys, of course. And I'm going to be calling Fundora versus Thurman. Kaipo Gallegos versus Julian Gonzalez. I'm going to be calling that fight too. We got a lot of boxing today, my people. We got a lot of boxing going on. Now, I'm going to tell you, I expect Moses Itauma to win by brutal knockout. Those are my expectations. I'm going to be calling this fight, and I envision myself saying, devastating blow, ladies and gentlemen, by Moses Itauma. Oh, the humanity. That's the type of knockout that I'm expecting to see. Because Moses Itauma is a special fighter. No disrespect to Franklin. I know he's going in there to fight, feeling like he can win and all of that good stuff. But that is not to be. Lou, and what time is the other fights? The other fights, that's PBC. That's going to be like, the card probably starts at 9 or 10 o'clock Eastern time. That's always late night stuff. The letter M. A knockout to make Jake Smith say, golly. It's going to be one of those. Devastating blow. One of those knockouts that make you put an ugly face. Boom! You be looking ugly as fuck. That's what I'm expecting from Moses Itauma. He just got that type of power. 21. Green light. You think Keith Thurman can win tonight? Look, I said it before, man. I got Sebastian Fundora winning this fight. But it was a very, very tough decision for me to make because I know what one time bring to the table. And he's not going to fight like he's washed. He's not going to fight. You're not going to see no ring rust. You're going to see speed. You're going to see power. You're going to see angles. You're going to see a lot from Keith Thurman. So it was real hard for me to say Fundora's going to win this fight. It wasn't easy. So, yes, one time he got a chance. He definitely do. Definitely do. See, the thing is, if you think about it, the narrative around Keith Thurman is the inactivity. It's only the inactivity because he has one loss in his entire career. So the narrative around Keith Thurman is that he's inactive too much, thus he can't win. That's the main narrative if you think about it. But then I say, he came off of inactivity and fought the kid from Australia, Brock. And what happened in that fight? Keith looked spectacular. What are we talking about? So he already proved to us that he can come off inactivity and not show no signs of ring rust. Look sharp out there. Come on now. Trent Thomas, you should be calling fights for pay. I mean, at one point, they're going to come calling. They're going to come calling at one point. I'm waiting for my turn. I'm just waiting patiently. Lou, that one loss was against Pac-Man, right? Correct. You got one loss against an all-time great, and that's it. But boxing is a what have you done for me lately sport. So fans automatically, you ain't done nothing lately, that's it, you done. You wash, you cook, you... Nah, Keith Thurman already showed us that he can come off inactivity. He absolutely pulverized the kid from Australia. Beat him up. Beat him up. What you want me to tell you? So if I see him looking good, okay, no, he didn't do it against a world champion. He didn't do it against, a championship caliber guy. But he did it against a young, undefeated fighter. And it's not just who he did it against. It's about how he looked. You didn't see a single sign of ring rust in Keith Thurman. The jab was sharp, fast. The combinations. Timing his opponent. His timing was crazy. And it was just a devastating knockout from Keith Thurman. So why would I expect for him to show up to this fight and be washed up all of a sudden? Nah. I already know for a fact, because I saw it, that Keith one-time Thurman has the discipline to have a great training camp and show up. So I'm telling you, he's going to show up tonight. Now, Sebastian Fundora, with that long jab, which we've seen more and more of in his last few fights, he's going to be able to maintain and control the range throughout this fight. Keith is going to have to rely on closing that gap. And Fundora, that jab is going to be on point and it's going to be disruptive. However, when Keith gets past it, you're going to see him landing the lefts to the wig piece and the rights to the don't piece. 21 green lights. You think Keith Thurman got to cut the ring off? Honestly, I don't think so. Because Fundora is going to be the one who have to cut the ring off. Fundora is going to be going forward. Keith is going to be the one moving, and it'll be Fundora who find himself. But, of course, Fundora, you know what? It's a legit question for you to ask because we know that Fundora has to close the distance to do what he does. So at some point, he may have Fundora backpedaling, but we'll see. We'll see. Sebastian Fundora, you know that he's not a fighter who likes to fight off of his footwork. That's just not his game. It's never been. But Keith Thurman, he knows how to do that. I'm not saying that Fundora doesn't, but Keith Thurman, we've seen him do it. So let's see. But I believe that because of the difference in experience, Keith Thurman is the more experienced fighter. He's probably going to jump into gear faster. He's probably going to be in rhythm faster than Fundora. And that's how he could get some of those early rounds. Underrated Will. One time keep going for the body. Oh, he got to do it. He got to do it. Having somebody with such reach advantage, you're going to see Keith Thurman doing that jab to the body and even the 1-2 to the body. You're going to see it. Side. What happened to your power, bro? Whoa. Trent Thomas. Thurman is still dangerous, so Fundora can't make any mistakes. The opening rounds will decide the pace of this. Look, I think that Fundora and his team, they're going into they went into this training camp having a lot of respect for Keith Thurman. You know, they know what he's accomplished. And I gotta say, man, a fighter like Keith is dangerous because he's been a world champion and he's going into this fight with a chip on his shoulder, my peoples. You have to understand that after he lost his title to Manny Pacquiao, this is his first title shot. This is it right here. So he's going in there with a chip on his shoulder, you know, wanting to prove that he can be a world champion, that he can do it again. Be a dangerous fighter. Ow. I'm curious about Thurman's conditioning going into the later rounds due to the inactivity. Nah, I'm telling you, man, Keith Thurman showed me that he could have a great training camp and look great out there. And that's what I'm expecting from him. That's how I know it's going to be a great fight. That's how I know right there. That's why I tell you guys, you know, yes, Fundora's going to win, but ain't nobody getting washed. Keith is not getting cooked. I can tell you that right now. It's going to be a good one. We're going to get fireworks. Underrated. We're only boxing, my peoples. No doubt. Side. Once upon a hairline getting his wig pushed back. Keep going bald tonight. Oh, man. I'm telling you. Wig pelt. You're going to be taking shots right to the toupee. Russell Wright. It's a payday. Salute, family. Capital cooked. Underrated Will. Hit that like button, my peoples. Come on now. It's 2026. It's no ghost watching. Come on now. 10 likes, that's diabolic. Trent Thomas. Keith is going for the gusto. Marie, did you make your predictions? Yes, ma'am. So, yes, sir. So, check it. Keith one-time Thurman is going to give Sebastian Fundora a heck of a fight. But ultimately, the younger, taller, longer reach fighter is going to prevail. But it's going to be a tough one. He might have to face some adversity in this fight. Because you have to understand, Keith Thurman got one loss. It's to Manny Pacquiao, and it was by split decision. This was a good fight. It was a heck of a fight. It's not like he got beat up. So, we got to respect one time. Lou. So if Keith Thurman wins, he will take both belts, which I believe the WBC and the IBF. Yes, sir. That's 2 titles for Keith Thurman in the 154 division. Just like that. Back in the game. Because if Keith Thurman was to upset Sebastian Fundora, right away, that's it. He's in the game to fight whoever he want to fight. Make big fights. It's like this will be a diving board for him. It's a huge money fights. The letter M. Thurman is going to get that hairline further pushed back. KO. Ooh, round 11. You got a stoppage? Is it a stoppage by referee? Or is it devastating blow by Sebastian Fundora? Which is it? Marie, so you got Fundora aging it out? The thing is, man, that it's hard for me to see one time getting knocked out. I see the fight going the distance with Fundora winning. And you know why I say that? Because Keith Thurman is a fighter who you guys have to remember. He don't have to stand in there and bang with him. Keith Thurman is a guy that knows how to use his footwork and knows how to move. He light on his toes. So what I'm saying, if Fundora hurt him badly, let's say in the 10th round, something like that, boom, get him hurt, and Keith Thurman get on his footwork, Fundora's not gonna be able to knock him out. And I don't see Keith just getting careless to where, boom, oh, devastating blow. Keith Thurman goes to sleep. I don't see that happening. Matt Gomez got the upset. Oh, you got Keith one-time Thurman walking out of there with the dub. JJ's in the house. Good morning, Jay Smith and the Box Center family. Salute, JJ. Bam. My peoples, to those of you who just tuned in, welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Man, hit that like button. Hit that like button. No ghost watching in 2026. The letter M. Ref stoppage by 11th. Too much punishment. Ref waving. Whoa, the ref is going to wave it on one time. Give him that mercy. Underrated Will. Hit that like button, my peoples. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be a heck of a fight. But something I haven't even mentioned, man. You guys know we was talking about Moses Itauma. Moses Itauma is going to fight Franklin. Jermaine Franklin, right? The heavyweights are going to get it in. Remember, my peoples, the heavyweights are doing it at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss it. This has happened to me before. Well, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to watch these fights. Ooh. And then I turned the TV on. The whole shit already ended because it was in the afternoon. I'm sitting there looking like a golf ball. So this fight is an afternoon fight. Don't miss it. You don't want to be on goofballery mode. Moses Itauma, I got to win him by devastating knockout. Devastating blow, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I see from Moses Itauma. But in that same card, my peoples, Ezra Taylor. Whoa, my peoples, Ezra Taylor. Look, he's not a big name like that. This Ezra Taylor right here. He got a certain level of popularity locally, somewhere in the UK. And I think part of it is because he has he's relatively early in his career. Now take a look at this. Right, Ezra Taylor on the right side, he's 31 years old and he's 13-0. So he doesn't have that many fights. But my peoples, if you haven't seen Ezra Taylor, he can fight. He got the goods. He got the mechanics, the speed, the power. You're going to see him. Whoever is the champion in whatever sanctioning body he's ranked the highest, they're going to have to see him. Ezra Taylor can fight. And he got a tough opponent. Hutch can fight. The Hutch train. Ezra Taylor, his nickname is the Cannon. Fitting nickname. So check out Ezra Taylor, my peoples. He can fight. And I'm looking forward to what he's going to do. It might be a devastating blow for the knockout, ladies and gentlemen. It might turn into that. Pasta track. Jay, that's a slick hat. Salute, family. I appreciate you, my brother. Soon, you guys will be able to buy these. I'm just working the logistics so I could get them to people in the States because most of the subscribers, most of the Box Center family is in the States. So I'm working on the logistics for that. But at some point, you'll be able to get your hands on these. Batman, what's up, Jay Smith? Who you got, Fundora or Thurman? Sebastian Fundora is going to beat Keith one-time Thurman in a very good, very competitive fight. Jay Smith, I'll give you another like on another one of my phones. Salute, family. I appreciate you, man. You see? While some of you ghost watching, snake hating, JJ said that has hit that like button from 2 different devices. Come on, man. Raul Mercado, good morning, my brother. Salute, family. Bam, Young Guns. Salute, my G. So check it, my peoples. Check it. Hold on. Let's not get ahead of ourselves over here. Not get ahead of ourselves. Fellas, it's looking like this fight is gonna happen in the summertime. It's looking like this fight is really going down. Oh, so this thing is really happening? Based on the reports that are out there, they're very advanced in negotiations? Huh. Come on now. Come on now. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. My expectations was that Xander Zayas was going to stay clear away from Boots. I was like, nah, Boots, when he get a title shot, it's going to be from somebody else. Because Xander, he only 23 years old. No way. That's just not happening. I didn't see it in his cards. So explain to me, how is it that Xander Zayas apparently is the guy pulling for this fight? Or at least was the guy that got the ball rolling. The letter M, June 27th, Boots beats Zayas. Young Guns, the battle to be a pound-for-pound great today. Marie, it's way too early for Zayas. And I really think that Zayas didn't have any choices because Thurman got their contract with the Zone. So I think the Zone asked them for this fight. Nah, Marie, listen, that's a made up thing out of thin air. The whole connection that people made that the Zone asked Top Rank, and that's how I've seen posts all over social media. People saying that, nah, Bob Arum, for him to get the contract with the Zone, he had to give up Zayas. And that's fake news. You know, we've never seen this before. We'll never see it again where people float a narrative like that. This is more about people not liking Bob Arum and not accepting that he got a great deal with the Zone. Like, damn, he got a great deal. Now, it can't be that he just got a great deal. Like, one of the best promoters in the history of the game is Bob Arum. So to think that he had to give up a fighter to get a deal with a platform, that's crazy. Xander Zayas is really about that smoke, family. And I want you to remember, he actually pulled up on Sebastian Fundora and was trying to fight him, like, not fight him right there, like trying to get something going. He wanted the champ. And Fundora wasn't interested in that fight, which is cool. So now Xander Zayas says, look, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about this, Marie. With Xander Zayas wanting this fight, pulling for this fight, it's even disrespectful to him for people to say that Bob Arum is feeding him to Boots or had to sell him to the Zone to get the. It's disrespectful to him. The guy's there like, I want the big dogs. I want the best in the division. And when he get one, that's how people react. That, oh, no, he don't really want it. It's them that made him do it. Nah. Xander Zayas is for real like that. Ronaldo, if it happens after Boots get the devastating knockout, he gonna start getting the fights. The letter M. I like a clean hat. No extra color. No extra clutter on it. Nah, just this. That's it. That's it, my peoples. Trent Thomas. Got you an extra light. Got you a Roku. Ooh, salute, family. You see what I'm saying? For those that be sneak hating and ghost watching, there's somebody out there showing love, hitting the like button. Ronaldo. Boost by relatively easy, devastating knockout. I think you're pushing it right there. I think you're pushing it. You know, an undefeated fighter like Xander Zayas to say that he's going to get knocked out easily, relatively easily. I think you're pushing it, my G. Marie, okay, Jay Smith. That's what I heard on socials. That's why, but you may be right. They just talking, or they can't believe that Zayas really accepted this fight. I'm telling you, people are having a hard time trying to process this. Because you guys have to remember, the narrative has been out there that supposedly Xander Zayas is the weakest link in the division. I'm not the first one to say it. You guys heard that before. And you guys heard people say or seen people say it on this show. So with if you believe that he's the weakest link in the division, then it's going to be hard for you to fathom that he's actually pushing for that fight. You need another narrative. So what's the narrative? Oh, nah, Bob Arum had to, put Xander Zayas out there, feed him to Boots so that he could get a DAZN contract. Man, that shit is cap. That shit is cap. Who's the main source of saying that? Somebody on social media. Yo, trust me, it just makes sense that way. Like the person who came out with that, it's not that they got insider information or that somebody told them and they're like, yeah, I know, I'm saying it because no. They simply figure this is what makes sense. Yeah, that's what happened. Boop, and that's it. And there's people that run with it. But that shit doesn't even make no sense. You have to understand, Bob Arum is one of the greatest promoters of all time. Arguably the greatest promoter of all time. And you're talking about he had to sell a fighter to get a contract. That's crazy work. Crazy work. The letter M, the Bob Arum sacrifice is such clickbait. Like, it don't even make no sense. I am Ken Ice. Great fight. I got Boots pulling away late and winning by 2 rounds. However, Zayas is a dog. Win or lose, he gained a fan forever. Love the heart. I gotta tell you, man, look. Xander Zayas, and this is what I believe. I expect that to be a competitive fight. I'm not gonna make a prediction right now, right? But hypothetically speaking, if Xander loses this fight, and mark my words, if he loses this fight, he's going to lose in a fashion where his stocks are still going to skyrocket. Sometimes people lose and they gain more fans and they gain my respect. That's the type of way that he'll lose. The Hydro Grind. It's fight night. You got it, family. We getting some smoke. It's fight day. We getting some daytime fights. Trent Thomas. Xander is young and powerful. This is a win-win. He can lose and still be a world champion. I mean, at 23 years old, if he loses to Jerome Boots Ennis, it could even be like when Floyd lost to Canelo. He could go on a crazy run after that. And he's gonna be a champion again. If he loses to Boots, he'll be a champion again. You can take that shit to the bank to get some pounds. And he's gonna keep accomplishing because he's young like that. Double AD. If this fight happens, it changes the landscape of boxing. It's going to start to change the duck narrative and protect the O narrative, especially when people see his stock rise after a loss. Yes, sir. There's implications. There's implications in a guy like Xander Zayas taking an L and then going on to still accomplish. Unlaced kicks. What time are the fights starting at? Great question, family. Great question. Let me show you right here. Hold on, fellas. I got the time right here for you. I want to make sure everybody's able to tune in on these fights. Here somewhere. Here you go, fellas. So Eastern time is at 1 p.m. That's the time right there, my peoples. On Lace Kid, Greg Hackett fights tonight as well. Yeah, man, what the fuck? I gotta tune in on that. I gotta look into that. I gotta educate myself. I gotta educate myself. Let me see something. Double AD, what do you think happens to Boo's stock if he loses to Xander, though? It's not about if he loses to Xander, because if he loses, it'll be in a very competitive fight. People gonna shit on him because they're gonna say he lost to the younger guy. But if he loses to Xander Zayas, Boots is still gonna be one of those guys. He's still, he's a special fighter. Look, it's two special fighters that are gonna fight. Somebody has to lose. Whichever loses, you're gonna see people saying even that they got exposed and that there was a hype job, all type of shit. But ultimately, if Boots and Xander Zayas fight, it's gonna be a competitive showdown. Nobody get washed, cooked. Rolling with the punches. Salute, Jay Smith. First time here. Yeah, fight day. I didn't know about these daytime fights. Appreciate the info, man. There you have it, family. And I tell you what, it happens too much that we miss out on fights. That has happened to me because they're in the daytime. By the time we tune in, the fight's already over. So these kick off at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And then the ones tonight, 9, 10 o'clock at night, that's when that kicks off, Eastern time. But we're going to get the smoke. And by the way, my peoples, don't tell, so you don't say you didn't know. I'm going to be calling these fights. I'm going to be calling this main event. And I'm going to be calling, of course, Sebastian Fundora versus Keith Thurman. But there's a couple other fights that I'm going to be calling as well. I told you earlier, Kaipo Gallegos. If you don't know about Kaipo Gallegos, you need to get put on. Check him out tonight. This kid is a future world champion. Jay Stradamus told you. The Hydro Grind. I still always pay for pay-per-view to encourage the sport. But damn, those prices are getting higher and higher. Golly. That's why some people's Fire Stick is loading ASAP. Marie, the Hydro Grind brother, it's too crazy. It do crazy out there. That's why you got to put your fights in these platforms. And the subscription is more than enough to give me all these fights. So again, my peoples, if you don't know about Kaipo Gallegos, get put on tonight. And if you don't know about Ezra Taylor, my peoples, Ezra Taylor can fight. Ezra Taylor got hands for days. He got power. They call him the Cannon for a reason. You gotta check him out. Be like, yeah, Jay told me. Jay told me about Ezra Taylor. My people, something that I gotta talk to y'all about, man. Something that I gotta talk to y'all about. Which I think is necessary. Nonito Donaire, I don't know if you know this, but he lost recently. He got stopped recently. He's 43 years old, my people. 43. He got stopped recently. And he's fighting again like in 3 months. In a few months. I'm like, yo, at 43 years old, you can't be active like that, bro. You're going to end up punch drunk. You're going to end up messed up in the game. No need to. Come on, bro. And I got to tell you, look at this. This the guy who gave Naoya Inoue his toughest fight. Nonito gave Naoya Inoue his toughest fight. By the way, my peoples, make sure you subscribe to Box Center 2.0. You see it right there, the link. Go to Box Center 2.0 and subscribe, yo. Exclusive content that only drops on that channel. But Nonito Donaire got stopped recently, man, and he's 43 years old. Like, do you really want to see him fight? Like, that's it. He's chasing history, but he's accomplished. He's accomplished. He's done a lot in the sport of boxing, won a lot of titles, won in multiple divisions. Come on, man. I hope he's not in a situation where, he blew his money and he's having to fight for money, because that would suck. You know, he's gonna get beat up into punch drunkenness. On lace kicks, Nonito's face was bad and took a lot of abuse. The hydro grind, Nonito got to hang the gloves up. Wonderful career. Hall of Fame, legend. Time to stop now. But that's what I'm talking about, man. Nonito, you know, that's it. At 43 years old. And look at his last 4 fights, y'all. Those are his last 4 fights. He got 1 win and 4 losses. He got stopped by Inoue 4 fights ago. His last fight, he got stopped by a guy with a record of 9-1. A guy with a record of 9-1 stopped Nonito in a 10-rounder. That shit was a 10-rounder. Nonito in his prime would have stopped homie before the 6th. Would have stopped him brutally. But that's it. You're 43 years old. 43. So, even getting stopped in his last fight, damn, Nonito's going to fight again? That's crazy. But yes, sir. He's going to fight again. I hope he don't get hurt badly out there. The hydro grind, he can get seriously hurt. MAW, hope you've been well, brother. Rolling. Bam. Salute, family. Underrated Will. The love for the sweet science. You know it. Rolling with the punches. Dang. I didn't know that about Nonito. Shaking my head. I love that dude. Hope he's safe. I'm telling you, man. Nonito Donaire, you know, special fighter. Had an amazing career. But look, man. Last 4 fights, he been out there getting beat up. You don't want to see a guy like Nonito go out like that, man. Out there getting pummeled and shit. Nah. That's not... Me personally, man, if it's up to me, Nonito don't fight again. That's my personal opinion. If it's up to me, Nonito hang up the gloves. But, you know, I don't know his personal situation. He could literally be fighting because he needs to check. And if that's the case, but he's seen a lot of fights. He's made good money. So it looks like he may have blown his fortune. But look at the resume, my peoples. Nonito has 43 wins and 10 losses. 3 by stoppage. You know, how many more times you want to get beat up? And you have to also think about this, and that's how you know how diminished he is as a fighter. He got 43 fights. Out of those 10 losses, 4 have been in his last 5 fights. Last 5 fights, he took 4 out of those 10 losses. What does that mean? I mean that you physically diminished. On lace kicks, hope Nonito save money for a rainy day. Honestly, it doesn't look like it. You know, when you're 43 years old, I mean, I get that, the wanting to become a world champion and that you can make more history by accomplishing more. But at 43 years old, and he's experienced inactivity, it's not like he, you know, he fought. I guess he did fight recently. But, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. He's a legend. Nonito Donaire, my people, is a legend. There's no other way to get around it. So you have this guy who's a legend in the sport of boxing, who's out there at 43 years old getting beat up. Whoa, Sean Johnson with the super chat vibes. My hat color. Salute, family. You already know, my brother, this never been about the money. It's about the love of the sweet science. But when you drop in on the super chat, you show how much you appreciate what I'm doing out here. So I appreciate you, my brother. What you got for me, Sean Johnson? Hey, champ, always supporting you and your movement. Who you got winning tonight? I like Thurman versus Fundora. Not to go the distance. Gallegos, money line. So I'm going to tell you like this, man. I got, and this was a very hard prediction to make because I know what Keith one-time Thurman bring to the table. I'm not disrespecting him. I'm not buying he's not the same or he washed. I'm not buying none of it. One-time Thurman is going to be himself. So for that, it was a hard prediction for me to make. I'm going with Sebastian Fundora to win, but I couldn't predict the stoppage, bro. I couldn't do it. You know why? Because Keith one-time Thurman is that good. And I believe he also has the skills that if he get hurt and he go in survival mode, he use that footwork on the taller, slower fighter, Fondora's not going to be able to catch him. I mean, he's going to be able to land his punches, but he's not going to be able to get that stoppage on him if Keith get on his footwork. And that's what I think he'll do if he get hurt. But I will say, a fight is going to break out. Keith is going to apply that pressure early on, trying to get on the inside. They're going to trade some nasty leather. But ultimately, I think the younger fighter is going to utilize that height, that reach advantage. He's going to use that jab to disrupt what Keith Thurman does. And ultimately, he's going to dictate the pace, the range. And because of that, I got him winning the fight. Kaipo Gallegos, I got him winning. This is toughest opponent. Wait a minute. The dude Kaipo fighting is like 19-1. So it's a tough opponent. You know, I'm having a hard time predicting a knockout. But Kaipo Gallego, and for the people who don't know him, because there's a lot of people out there, you know, he's young, he's early in his career, who don't know, who haven't seen Kaipo Gallego fighting yet. My peoples know the name. This kid is a future world champion. The letter M. It can also, he likes to fight and doesn't want to retire. It can be that. But at 43 years old, you know, it's hard to believe it. When you've taken this many losses. You know, 4 losses in your last 5 fights. Nah. Like I told you, I could be wrong. But in most cases, there's a financial issue that's making the fighter keep coming back. Lou, George Foreman won at 43. But George Foreman, a heavyweight, and if you watch that fight, Lou, I watched it live. He pretty much lost every single round. He was getting his ass whooped by Michael Moore. And he landed that big right hand, boom, slept him. Done and over with. You know, that's something you do in the heavyweight division. One punch, boom, go to sleep. But Nonito Donaire at 43 years old, he ain't sending these guys to sleep with one shot, bro. That's just not happening. Rolling with the punches. Yeah, I feel Thurman is back. He's talking with the belief I feel he was lacking after he cut his hair. He seems focused for sure. And I refer people to Keith Thurman's last fight. Look at his last fight. And see how he handled that kid from Australia. Devastating knockout. Keith Thurman looks super sharp, strong, fast. So what did it prove to me? That he can have, you know, come off inactivity, have a great training camp, and look, be himself. Listen, my peoples. Keith Thurman was the old Keith Thurman in his very last fight. Did you not watch him? But because he didn't fight a superstar, he didn't fight a world champion, people feel like, oh yeah, that's nothing, that's nothing. Nah. You gotta see how he looked physically and how he performed. Keith Thurman is not going into this fight on some, oh, I'm lucky to be here. Nah, yo, Keith Thurman trying to whoop his ass. Matt Gomez, I got a feeling this will be Thurman's last great performance. Deep water with an old shark. I'm telling you, Keith Thurman, because I want you to consider this, Matt Gomez. Keith Thurman can lose in a very competitive fight where he put Fundora through adversity, maybe drop him or something. And if he lose like that, his stock is still going up. He's still going to be able to get a big fight. And I saw him floating the idea of fighting Errol Spence. That's a fight that got away from us. We wanted that fight. We wanted it. And Keith Thurman, man, he's the reason why that fight didn't happen. I blame him for not fighting Spence. He could have 2 PBC fighters in-house fight. But he didn't want to do it. Underrated. Well, Fundora better protect that body. Side. He was an old Keith Thurman. That's for sure. In his last fight, we saw the old Keith. Keith one time. That's what we saw in his last fight. So there's no reason for me to believe that he's going to step in the ring tonight and all of a sudden be washed. Cooked. I don't see it that way. Side. You know what Keith said, Jay? He keep talking about Arrow. He not focused on Fundora. He like, Arrow is my dream fight. Nah. Look, I'ma say this. Keith, I give him the leeway to say that. You know why? Because remember, Arrow wanted to fight him and he didn't take the fight. He didn't want to fight Arrow. Then when he wanted to fight Arrow, Arrow was like, yeah, go kick rocks. Which I would have did the same thing. You didn't give me a shot. Now you don't got a title. You can't get a shot. Arrow gave him the same energy. So for that reason, the fight never happened, but we wanted it. So that history gives him leeway to say, yeah, I want to fight Arrow. They both inactive as a motherfucker anyways. The letter M. Daffy Duck Lips is getting effed up tonight. The Hydro Grind. He looked great against Brock. Amazing shape. Looked fresh and brand new. That's what I'm saying, though. Against Brock, Keith Thurman was fast, sharp, strong. Letting the hands fly. Crazy punch output. Come on now. And he actually stated that he's not going to be trying to box guys. He's trying to knock them out. Trying to knock dudes out. In this stage of his career, he like, I'm not getting paid for overtime. Trying to knock him out. Get him out of there. So the same Keith Thurman that you saw against Brock, that's who you're going to see against Sebastian Fundora. Now, is he going to be successful? As successful? We'll find out. We're going to find out, that's for sure. Trent Thomas. George took a lot of damage in that fight. Bro, George Foreman was getting head punched to the dome piece, to the nose piece, to the mouthpiece, to the eyeballs. All over the place. Michael Moore was landing all time. Listen, man, a smaller fighter would have been stopped with all those punches. But Big George took it. And then he timed that one perfectly, and boom, it was all over. Murder, she wrote on Michael Moore. On lace kicks, I have to go with Fundora. Just because of Thurman, lack of activity. 2 fights in 6 years. This will be his 3rd. The Hydro Grind. Keith said his game plan is to make himself smaller and to try to connect the overhand to the melon. Oh, you're going to see him connect. He's also going to close the gap, and you're going to see him do the 1, 2, 3 to the wing piece. Richard Sullivan, I've been looking for you since this morning. Salute, family. We're in the building. We're here. We're here. And let me just tell you, number 1, subscribe to Box Center 2.0, family. It's right there. Right there in the comments. You see a pin. Subscribe to Box Center 2.0. That's number 1. Number 2, Moses Itauma versus Franklin. That card is going down in the afternoon, my brother. 1 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to get the smoke. And guess what? I got you. I'm going to be calling these fights. The left to the mouthpiece. The right to the wig piece. Devastating blow, ladies and gentlemen. This is the type of action that we're going to get from Moses Itauma. I'm trying to tell you. This fight is going to end, and you're going to hear me like, oh, the humanity. It's going to be that type of knockout. You don't want to miss it. And then, the main event for the other card, Keith one-time Thurman versus Sebastian Fundora. Y'all know we're going to get the fireworks. Y'all know it. A fight is going to break out early. That's the type of action that you can expect from Sebastian Fundora and Keith Thurman. On lace kicks, Jay, do you see Spence short of him in the ring? He was throwing all high punches. Can he be getting ready for Fundora? could be. It could be. Remember that at some point there was a fight supposedly even scheduled between Spence and Fundora. There was a fight date and everything. And then Errol Spence came out in a video saying, I'm gonna fight him. Ha ha ha. Well, I think he commented somewhere. Ha ha ha. And the fight it never materialized. So Errol Spence could potentially be fighting Sebastian Fundora. I don't think he's gonna do it next. We've already seen Errol Spence's name be floated around with Tim Tszyu, so we might get Errol versus Tszyu. Supposedly, Timmy's gonna get a fight first with somebody else, and then it's gonna be him and Errol Spence. But nothing is set in stone, so we have to see. Errol does look like he's coming, like he's getting ready to come back. You see him running recently. I know you guys saw that video with him and Brian Norman Jr. running together. Errol Spence looking like he's in real good shape, looking real strong. So we're going to see Errol Spence fighting. Most likely this year. The Hydro Grind, Spence been trolling a comeback for the last 100 years. He said, I'll come back when I'm ready, bro. He took a nasty pummeling. You don't take a pummeling like the one he took to Terrence Crawford and just come back, bro. Trent Thomas, Thurman may hurt him with the body shots. And that's one thing you can bet on. Keith Thurman will be going to Sebastian Fundora's body a lot. And he's going to use those body shots to try to set up them looping punches to the melon. Looping shots to the wig piece. You're going to see those from Keith Thurman. But in order to land those shots effectively, you got to be in close range. Looping punches, you got to be in close range to land those. So Keith Thurman is going to have his work cut out for him when it comes to controlling that range and landing those shots. Is he going to play the in and out on Fundora? Keith Thurman has the footwork to do that. Or is he going to try to get on the inside, apply pressure, and we're going to see Fundora returning fire? Because one thing you guys know about Sebastian Fundora, he's a guy that does not rely on his footwork to win fights. He uses his footwork. But what I mean is that he's not moving all over the ring using every square inch of the canvas. Nope. He's jabbing, moving. But if you try to apply pressure, he can stand in there and bang with you. And we're going to see a lot of that in this fight. Remember I told you. Keith Thurman is going to have to be on the outside because that jab is going to be on point from Sebastian Fundora. But when Keith goes inside that range and let his fly, you're going to see Fundora counterpunching and you're going to see them trading leather. That's why I'm telling you, we're going to see fireworks, my people. Fireworks. This is for those who believe that Keith Thurman is going to get washed. It's not going to play out nothing like that. Keith is not. You never seen Keith getting washed. You ain't never seen Keith getting washed. Why would you think that he's going to get washed now? The letter M. What do you think of Tommy Fury versus Strongman Eddie Hall? I mean, that's like that's not even a real fight. It's not even, Tommy Fury, you know, he's out there. That's like when he fought Jake Paul. Jake Paul is, you know, was a real fight, but now he's going into, he say he want to beat up a bunch of YouTubers. This strong guy, like I'm not even paying attention to that, to be honest. Lou, sure thing happened with Chavez versus Taylor. Was winning and Chavez knocked him out in the last round. But there's a difference in that fight. And I'm going to tell you what's the difference, Lou. If you watch Chavez versus Taylor, Taylor was outworking him and outlanding him. That speed was obviously giving Chavez problems. But in every round, Chavez was landing one or two real hard shots to the dome piece of Taylor. So he getting beat up, but every round he like, boom, land a real good one. But then Taylor, we start using the angles, the speed, and you want to see it again until the next round. But then in the next round, In between that beating, boom, boom, he landed 2 good ones to the dome piece. So something that was also happening in that fight that we didn't realize, Taylor was winning all the rounds, but Chavez was also breaking them down with those shots to the wig piece. Breaking them down, landing to the head, to the head, to the head, to the head. So finally, that one shot landed. Boom! Turn his lights out. He broke them down. Broke them down. And it was hard to realize that Chavez was breaking them down because Meldrick Taylor was outboxing the shit out of him. Beating him up. Beating Chavez up. Trent Thomas, Fundora leaves his hands down. If rush him, he will hit you before you can get in. Yeah, but that jab from Sebastian Fundora, that's going to be the main problem for Keith Thurman. Getting past that jab. Because, listen, and you're going to see this tonight too. Watch this. Jay Stradamus in motion. Check it. You're going to see this tonight. Fundora using that jab to keep him out there. Boom! The straight right hand right down the pipe to the toupee of Keith one-time Thurman. Why? Because when he can keep you, at the end of that punch, he'll go right down the middle with the straight right hand. And he can also time you as you're trying to close that range. Boom! Devastating blow from Sebastian Fundora. It can really go down like that. AI, how? Them skinny razor elbows from Fundora. Well, Tim Tszyu know what that's about. Underrated will. That reach going to be difficult for Thurman. It is. And that's what we have to figure out. Is Keith Thurman gonna be moving, right? Using his lateral movement, and then step on the inside, and step back out and go back to moving. And go back to moving. Is he gonna do that? And are people gonna say, "Oh, he was running"? Or is he gonna have no success from the outside because that jab is too disruptive? So he found himself applying pressure, trying to just get on the inside and trade leather with Fundora. We're gonna see, but how does it really play out? I already told you. I got Sebastian Fundora winning a tough competitive fight. We're going to see fireworks, my people. When I say fireworks, from both sides. A left to the dome piece, a right to the wig piece. Oh, the humanity. That's the type of action we're going to get. Whoa, Ronaldo Ray with the super chat vibes. Salute, family. Brother, it never been about the money. When you drop in on the super chat, you saying that you appreciate what I'm doing out here. I appreciate you, my brother. What you got for me, Ronaldo Ray? Fundora will win if he stays behind that jab and attacks Keith's body all night. Keith only needs one punch. Dangerous power. And we saw what Keith did in his last fight. He showed that power. That's why I'm telling people it's going to be competitive. Because we already saw Keith Thurman coming off of inactivity and look sharp as hell. Why would I expect any different right now? And I told you guys this before. Keith got a chip on his shoulder. He want to prove to people that he can be a world champion again. You think he don't hear the fans saying that he's washed up? That he's done? That he can't win? That he's the underdog for this fight? He hear that. Got a chip on his shoulder. A fighter like that is dangerous. Underrated will. Is Fundora quick with the jab? We know he has the reach, but how many shots can Thurman throw at that point? Trent Thomas. Chavez damaged him over a course of time, and it worked in spectacular fashion. Yes. Chavez, was landing those hard shots. And the thing is that Taylor was doing so much that it overshadowed what Chavez was doing. But Chavez was landing some hard shots. And it all added up to that point. The letter M. Which Fundora versus Thurman was at 1 p.m. I can't wait. Wait a minute. Don't get it twisted. Because at least at 1 p.m., we're going to get the smoke from Moses Itauma. And I already told you. Devastating blow, ladies and gentlemen, from Moses Itauma. That's what you can expect from this fight. The speaker says, I want Thurman to win, but I'll settle for him not dying. Rolling with the punches. The speaker says, the letter M, Thurman is washed. He's done. He can't win. He's the underdog in this fight. The Hydro Grind, the letter M, don't get it twisted. Thurman is still in great shape. That's what I'm saying. Look, the letter M, if Thurman was washed, Fundora would cook him and stop him early. But because he's not washed and he's not done, this fight could even go the distance. A very tough competitive fight. The letter M, Itauma versus Thurman. Make it happen. Oof. That's going to be a super fight. Moses Itauma versus Thurman. Thurman is going to be a super fight. We'll get that at some point. Then you got to throw Caballero in the mix, in that loop. Come on now. Trent Thomas. Sebastian has style that's hard to get past because of his height. This will be a great test. Keith Thurman got his work cut out for him, man. It's going to be a tough task for Keith to get within his own punching range. But never underestimate the impact that speed can have on a fight. Speed can have an impact. And Keith Thurman is the faster fighter in that ring tonight. He's going to be the faster guy. Don't get it twisted. He's going to be the guy with the speed in there. He's also going to be the guy with the better footwork. The more mobility. That counts for some. That counts for some in Keith Thurman's favor. Let that sizzle in your spirit. Zayas and Chavez won that fight with Taylor. 4 punches to 1. That's called a puncher's chance. Trent Thomas. Sebastian has style that's hard to get past because of his height. Oh, yeah, I've seen that one already. The Hydro Grind. Winner takes Ortiz. If Thurman wins, how do you think he does against Virgil? It's hard to say, man. It's hard to say. Because if Keith Thurman pulls off the upset tonight, which he has the skills to do so, then we just have to see what he decides to do next. He's going to be on the driver's seat, and there's going to be a lot of options. Maybe that fight with Errol Spence. Maybe now he tells Errol, yo, you want a title shot? Come see me. I'll give you a title shot. Underrated Will. Is Bill Haney really facing jail time? I don't know about that. Honestly, I don't know about that. I know that they're dealing with that situation about that brawl and everything, but I really don't know. Raul Mercado. Do you think it's going the distance? Honestly, I think this fight could go the distance. And I say that because Keith is such a good fighter that even if he does lose, and I see him lose in this fight, I don't see him getting knocked out. He's skilled enough to, number one, not take a barrage of punches and get the referee to pull the plug. And he's skilled enough to stay away from that one devastating blow that's just going to wash him. Keith has good defense, good head movement, good footwork. So I see him losing, but not getting stopped. The letter M. It's sizzle, Jay. Fundora still stopping Keith one time. I don't know, man. It didn't sizzle enough, bro. Let it sizzle in your spirit a little bit more. Trent Thomas. This will be one for the history books. And I got to tell you what. The stocks skyrocket for the winner. He's going to skyrocket. Why? because this is a big win. Even though I can already see fans diminishing this win for Sebastian Fundora, saying that Keith Thurman was done and blah, blah, blah. But Keith one-time Thurman is a great win on the resume of Sebastian Fundora. And that's what it's going to be. That's how it's going to play out. I got to be honest with you. I can't lie, my peoples. I can't jump up in here and tell you some shit when I know the way it's really going to play out. So all these fights that we talking about, these potential matchups that are coming up, meanwhile, y'all mans and them Virgil Ortiz sitting on a shelf collecting dust. Goofballery.com. JJ said has Jay Smith. I have to go. God bless you and the Box Center family. Have a great weekend, my peoples. Salute, my brother. Bam. Trent Thomas. Fundora's going to have move more than he usually does. I believe it. Because Keith Thurman is a fighter who has great footwork. He's not just gonna stand there and get beat up. Sorry, that image funny, but it's real. It's real. That's not an image. This is not an image. This was actually taken from Virgil Ortiz a couple of days ago. Doctor, I don't see fundraising stopping Keith. I got Keith on this fight. His footwork is going to be the main thing. If his footwork not working, Fundora jab is going to kill me. So I got Keith. I got bad news for you, bro. Sebastian Fundora is going to get the W, my G. Sorry. Sebastian Fundora. It's going to be a good fight. A tough competitive fight. Fundora's going to win. Skip a Clipper. Jay Smith, salute. Predictions didn't change, right? No, sir. My predictions, have you ever seen one of my predictions changing? Gabrielle, bro, talk about boxing every day, but never been in the ring. Who told you I never been in the ring? You see, you're a goofball. You just dropped the first goofball comment. What a goofball. I'm not even going to say you're on break. I'm not even going to say you're on break, but you're a goofball. How you don't know somebody and you say some shit like that? I am Broly. I think Fundora might win by knockout, honestly. And it's reasonable. It's okay. It's okay to think that. Because Sebastian Fundora is a big dude. He's going to have a lot of height and reach advantages. So and he a power puncher. Fundora got power like that. Come on now. The Hydro Grind with the book Historia del Boxeo. That was not a coincidence, family. Trent Thomas, Ortiz messed up his own path. Oster, yeah, this is going to be a must-watch. The letter M. Goofball J. Smith. Come on, man. Goofballery.com. Unlace, pack him up. Side, he clearly new to the channel. You know, he new over here. We gotta let him rock. Let him be. Let him get his little attention. Oster, Virgil could go sit down. That guy is doing nothing in boxing. 11 years, no title fights. F out of here. Damn, my people's Virgil. Sitting on a shelf, collecting dust, collecting spider webs. Suing Oscar De La Hoya. Cooked. The letter M, J. Smith. I saw you pumping up the crowd during your fight. Oh, you know it. You know, I was like, yo, come on, man. Let's get this action. Yes, sir. I was enjoying it, bro. Like, come on now. Had to enjoy it. Enjoy that moment. I am Broly. But I do have a good question. Will Keith Thurman have beat Tim Tszyu? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. It's hard to say because I'm not going to judge Tim Tszyu from his losses, which is what people always do, right? Tim Tszyu was on a tear. So I don't know if at that moment. But you know what? If I had to place a bet, I will go Yeah, I'm going with Keith Thurman. He's the more skilled fighter. You know, Tim Tszyu could have gave him a tough fight, but it's just the skills. You know, people sleeping on Keith one-time Thurman, man. He's skilled like that. I am Broly. And why did Tim Tszyu go downhill? I mean, I just think he faced some tough opponents. If you think about it, he got 3 losses, but he only lost to 2 people. Sebastian Fundora and Bakar Mortasaliev. So he lost to 2 great fighters. So if you lose to a great fighter, I don't think you went downhill. I think you just, fought great fighters back to back or whatever it was. Because look at Teofimo Lopez. He lost to Shakur Stevenson. I don't think he went downhill because he took an L to one of the best boxers of this era right now. On Lace Kicks, don't forget to hit the like button. Come on, my people. A Saturday morning edition of Boxing for Breakfast, and you still gonna ghost watch and snake hate? Don't do it to yourself. Ronaldo Ray, Tim seemed different after Fundora. That was one bloody match. Damn, man, he took that sharp elbow to the dome piece. Whoa. And you know what's funny? Before the elbow to the wig piece, if you think about it, Tim Tszyu was winning that fight, that first fight. He was landing some big shots. Took that bow, and that's it. After that, he kept, trying to wipe the blood from his face and still doing good. But that second fight, that's it. Sebastian Fundora already had him figured out, already know what he wanted to do. Offset everything that he was trying to do and just pummeled him. It was a battering session. Oster, Thurman beef fundraising is going to be tough as shit. I'ma just have to go with Keith. I am Brody. I think that nasty cut from Fundora, 1, did some real damage where he can't take punches the same anymore. Look, that makes sense. I gotta say, it does make sense. But we have to see because, it's Bakar Mortasaliev who he fought after Fundora, who beat him up, right? A hard, very hard puncher. So with Bakram, I think part of the reason why he got pummeled that way is because Bakram is a guy who came out of nowhere, obscurity, and he thought that he could go, blow for blow with this guy. He tried to outgun him, and that's why he got pummeled like that. He failed to see that this guy was gonna outgun him. And that's one thing, and I would say a kink in Tim Tszyu's armor. When he get hurt, he never really goes into defensive mode where he's trying not to get hit from those type of shots anymore. Instead, he goes into instinct mode where he's now throwing punches back at you. Boom, boom, boom. He does this instead of now trying to focus on not catching another one. Because, look, a lot of times people don't get knocked out by the punch that you see hit them. They get knocked out by a punch that hit them before that one. Boom, and actually hurt them enough to get hit by the one that knocks him out. And Tim Tszyu, he could get knocked out because of that. That's why. He gets hit, he get hurt, he just throw punches back. And that's what happened with Bakar Mortasaliev. When he was getting hit with those hard shots, he just stood in the pocket trying to fight back. Ultimately, he ended up getting brutalized. Underrated Will, I'm out of here, fellas. Gotta go to work. Get that paper, my brother. Bam! I am Broly. Bakram is a monster. We all know Josh Kelly will get knocked out in a rematch. Oh, no, he got robbed. He got robbed. If you watch that fight, it was like the judges, the referee, the commentators, the crowd, and Josh Kelly against Bakram Mortasaliev. Gay Rivera, yes, he has that delay power. Bakram does. I'm telling you, he's a dangerous fighter. So I don't see Tim Tszyu as having gone downhill. I see him as having lost to two great fighters with a lot of power. If you're telling me that he's losing to bums and losing to nobodies, then I'll be like, okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. Tim is cooked. But look at the fighter that he lost to. So if anything, I got respect for Tim Tszyu for getting in there with those monsters. Monsters. By the way, my people, a quick segue into Top Rank and the Zone. I told you guys, those of you who were watching, who've been watching Boxing for Breakfast, I told you that the moment Bob Arum signed with the Zone, that was going to open up the doors, open up the possibility so that we see these fights between Top Rank fighters and the Zone fighters. I said this. And then what happens? Right away, they kick into gear and they trying to make Xander Zayas and Jerome Boots Ennis. Now, just think about it. Bob Arum is considered one of the greatest promoters of all time, fellas. Bob Arum, one of the greatest promoters of all time. Arguably the greatest promoter of all time, if you look at his track record. And instead of people celebrating that he's involved in making such a big fight, because this is a huge fight, look what they're saying. Oh, now he probably had to give up Xander to get the deal with the Zone. Like, that shit don't even make no sense. Or the Zone asked him to do it. Meanwhile, what's actually being reported out there is that Xander Zayas was the first guy pushing for this fight. He's about that smoke. Zayas is really about that smoke. He was trying to fight Sebastian Fundora. He was trying to fight Tim Tszyu when Timmy was undefeated. Now he want to fight Boots, and they trying to make that happen. The letter M. Maybe it's Bob Arum has faith in Zayas winning now. I mean, listen. Zayas says, I want this fight, and they're giving it to him. So they must believe that he could win it. Because you have to understand one thing, my peoples. Boots is not Xander's mandatory. Xander don't got to fight him. Raul Mercado. I saw guys say Ortiz can beat Xander. I mean, maybe we'll see that fight at some point. But right now, Virgil's never even fought for a title in his career. Xander Zayas is a unified champion. Renato Rey. If Zayas wins, he automatically gets catapulted into the top. Listen, his star power is going to explode. If you give Boots his first loss of his career and you Xander Zayas at 23 years old, unified world champion at 154, your star power is going to absolutely explode. And I already said this before. Zayas is the face of Puerto Rican boxing. You see Edgar Berlanga. Berlanga cooked. It's Zayas. He's the guy. The Hydro Grind. Zayas and Emiliano are Top Rank's future cash cows. Arum won't sacrifice any of them. He must truly believe he can beat Boots. They believe it. They believe it. And that's the thing. Not only Xander Zayas has to feel like he can beat Boots, the team does. Because he's not the one making the fight. Right? If Bob Arum says we're not making this fight, it won't happen. So yes, Bob believe in him. Trent Thomas, this is going to be a super fight. We all will watch this. Everybody's going to tune in. Everybody's tuning in. And based on what's being reported, you guys see that I'm giving you an update about this potential matchup pretty much every day. This whole week we spoke about this almost every day. And we see the reports keep coming out that this fight is close to being made, that is being negotiated. And remember, we saw Xander Zayas hitting the punching bag while wearing boots, trolling Virgil Ortiz. The letter M. Berlanga is the face of New York City sanitation. Ah, okay, because I was going to say, Hamza Shiraz is the king of New York, due to Edgar Berlanga. I am Broly. I think Xander has a chance. He has Bad Bunny in his corner, probably spending millions on experts. Yo, that would be crazy if he bring Bad Bunny. If Bad Bunny bring him out, that would be insane. The letter M. Kelly is being left out. Nah, Josh Kelly's not being left out because he actually could have fought Boots if he wanted to. And he was like, nah, I'm good. I'm straight. So he'll be able to unify with the winner of this fight. Trent Thomas. Someone said July 29th. Might, because remember, there's reports that they're working on it. And that David said that it's happening in New York at the Barclays, if I'm not mistaken. But you never know. Until contracts are signed, you never know. Details and stuff like that can change. But it does look like Xander Zayas versus Jerome Boots Ennis is happening this summer. God, what a fight. What a fight. I couldn't make a prediction right now. If I wanted to, I couldn't make a prediction. I got to wait for them to announce it, and it's going to take me a little bit of time. It's hard to predict this one. Remember, my peoples, Boots is the guy moving up to 154. He got one fight in that division versus Lima. Xander Zayas will knock Lima out with his eyes closed. The Hydrogram rumors say New York at MSG during Puerto Rican Day Parade. So yes, July. But I also saw another one that said at the Barclays. 2 left hooks. We lit tonight. Remember 2 left hooks. Moses Itauma versus Franklin. That's not tonight. That's at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to be calling them fights live. So don't wait till tonight and miss out on that smoke. This right here, this card goes down at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Check out the local times right there, my people. If you're in LA, 10 in the morning. San Antonio, 12 in the afternoon. New York City, 1 p.m. Toronto, if you're in Canada, 1 p.m. Brazil, 2 p.m. And so on and so forth. So for a lot of us, this fight is in the daytime, man. You don't want to miss it. Don't miss all the smoke, because Moses Itauma is going to give us a devastating blow, ladies and gentlemen. Moses Itauma with a brutal knockout. That's what you can expect to see. Khabib Brown, where's the smoke? My brother, tune in. I'm going to be calling these fights at 1 p.m. Eastern time. You're going to see the smoke. All type of smoke from Moses Itauma. Ronaldo Ray, we got nothing but love for you down here in San Antonio, Texas, brother. Keep doing your thing. Get them likes up. Appreciate it, family. There's some ghost watchers and some snake hating ass niggas that'll go ahead and not hit the like button. But we know it's about the love of the sweet science. I appreciate you, my brother. I am Broly. Itauma is climbing fast. If he gets to 20-0, we might see him and Usyk fight. It's not going to happen. Usyk already said he's not going to fight him. According to Usyk, and I believe him, he got like 3 more fights left. And it's like Tyson Fury and 2 more. I don't know who else. Itauma's not in his plans. Even Tyson Fury said that he won't fight Itauma. They said they won't fight him because he's too young. And they want to let him do him. 2 left hooks. I want all the smoke. I am Broly. Usyk will beat Itauma. I think if it was to fight now, Usyk got him. But if he wait a little bit, he get cooked. He get cooked. I got to say this, though. Moses Itauma is probably going to end up meeting with Caballero. And I really like that fight. I also like Thurman with Itauma and Caballero. Richard Torres Jr. is out there. Imagine Itauma versus Torres. That's a slugfest. Caballero versus Itauma, that's a brutal slugfest. Trent Thomas. Yeah, I'm in Houston. I will miss it because I have to rest. Just got off work. Only up to support you. I appreciate it, my brother. Make sure you rest. The body needs to rest, of course. Need that and hydrate. Get that H2O in the building. I am Broly. Itauma versus Jai Opataya. The thing is, I don't know when we're gonna see Jai Opataya at heavyweight. That's number one. I don't know when we'll see him at heavyweight. And because he's on Zuffa Boxing, I don't know how those fights get made now. Especially since we've been seeing Dana White shitting on Oscar De La Hoya, on Eddie Hearn, on Bob Arum, just shitting all over them on social media. So are any of those great promoters gonna even be willing to work with him? Frank Warren as well. Are any of them gonna be willing to work with Dana White and collaborate with Zuffa Boxing? I don't know. I don't know that that's gonna happen. We shall see. But there you have it, my peoples. I'm going to end today's special edition episode of Boxing for Breakfast. I hope you guys enjoyed this Saturday morning. We got to enjoy the sweet science for a little something. But just remember, Moses Itauma versus Franklin. That's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I will be live again to call these fights. And then later tonight, of course, I am going to be calling Sebastian Fundora versus Keith one-time Thurman. So you're going to have to catch me in the afternoon and tonight. There's a lot of action going on. By the way, somebody reminded me that Greg Hackett is fighting tonight. Look it up. Let's look it up. Check out Greg Hackett. You know I support my boy. Yes, sir. Salute, my people. This is another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. I'm Jay Smith. I'm getting the hell out of here, man. Let's enjoy the rest of the day with our family. I'm going to see you guys later. Bam! Peace out, fellas.